Hey guys, this is Amit and you are watching Tech Dad. In this video, we are going to compare between Poco M3 Pro versus Redmi Note 10 Pro, and we will discuss which one is better in camera, performance, display, body of the devices, features, communication chips, and about the prices. And in the end of the video, I will tell you which one is better according to me. So watch this video till the end. So without wasting any time, let's start the video. Let the comparison start with the camera of the devices. Talking about the rear camera of the devices, M3 Pro have triple camera setup, 48 megapixel of wide camera, 2 megapixel of macro camera and 2 megapixel of depth sensor, whereas 10 Pro comes with quad camera setup, 64 megapixel of wide camera, 8 megapixel of ultra wide camera, 5 megapixel of macro camera and 2 megapixel of depth sensor. So the winner here is 10 Pro because it have quad camera setup which have ultra wide camera. And about the front camera of the devices, M3 Pro have 8 megapixel of wide camera and Note 10 Pro have 16 megapixel of wide camera. So the winner here is 10 Pro because it have 16 megapixel of wide camera which can take low noisy photos in low light condition. Let's talk about the camera features of the devices. M3 Pro have dual LED flash, HDR and panorama, whereas 10 Pro have LED flash, HDR and panorama. So the winner here is M3 Pro because it have dual LED flash. And about the video recording options in the devices, M3 Pro can shoot Full HD video max at 30fps and 10 Pro can shoot 4K video max at 30fps, Full HD video max at 120fps with gyro electronic image stabilization. So the winner here is 10 Pro because it can record in high fps and it have gyro electronic image stabilization. Moving to the performance of the devices, let's start with the operating system of the devices. M3 Pro have Android 11 support. On the other side, 10 Pro have Android 11 support, so it's a tie. And about the user interface of the devices, M3 Pro have MIUI whereas Note 10 Pro comes with MIUI, so it's a tie because both of the user interface have same UI. Let's talk about the processor of the devices. M3 Pro is powered by Dimensity 700 based on 7nm processor, whereas Note 10 is powered by Snapdragon 732G based on 8nm processor. So the winner here is 10 Pro because it has slightly faster processing speed. And about the GPU of the devices, M3 is packed with Mali G57 whereas Note 10 Pro is packed with Adreno 618. So the winner here is 10 Pro because it can give you more FPS in games. Let's talk about the clock speed of the devices. M3 Pro can clock at 2.2 GHz based on octa-core Cortex chipset, whereas 10 Pro can clock at 2.3 GHz based on octa-core Cortex chipset. So the winner here is 10 Pro because it have faster clock speed. And about the RAM variants in the devices, M3 Pro comes with 2 RAM variants, 4, 6 and 8 GB of RAM variants, whereas Note 10 Pro have 6 and 8 GB of RAM variants. So clearly the winner here is 10 Pro because it have high capacity of RAM. Let's talk about the internal storage of the devices. M3 Pro comes with 2 storage options, 64 and 128, whereas 10 Pro comes with 2 storage options, 64 and 128. So clearly it's a tie because both of the devices have same read and write speed. And about the external storage of the devices, M3 Pro have dedicated card slot, whereas 10 Pro also have dedicated card slot. So it's a tie. Moving to the display features of the devices, let's start with the display size of the devices. M3 Pro have 6.5 inches of display, whereas Note 10 Pro have 6.67 inches of display. So the winner here is 10 Pro because it have bigger display size. And about the screen to body ratio of the devices, M3 Pro have 83.7% of ratio whereas 10 Pro have 85.7%. So the winner here is 10 Pro because it have higher ratio. Let's talk about the screen resolution of the devices. M3 Pro comes with Full HD Plus display, and the other side 10 Pro also have Full HD Plus display. So I will call it a tie here. And about the display type of the devices, M3 Pro have IPS LCD display having 90Hz of refresh rate, whereas Note 10 Pro have Super AMOLED display having 120Hz of refresh rate with HDR10 support. So the winner here is 10 Pro because it have Super AMOLED display which can produce sharper vivid colors and deeper blacks, which is great for watching content and playing games. Moving to the body features of the devices, let's start with the thickness of the devices. M3 Pro have 8.9mm of thickness whereas Note 10 Pro have 8.1mm of thickness. So clearly the winner here is 10 Pro because it have slimmer body design. Talking about the weight of the devices, M3 Pro comes with 190 grams of weight whereas 10 Pro have 192 grams of weight. So it's a tie here because both of the devices have approximately the same weight. And about the protective glass of the devices, M3 Pro have Gorilla Glass 3 whereas Note 10 Pro have Gorilla Glass 5. So the winner here is 10 Pro because it have newer generation of glass which is more durable than its older generation. Let's talk about the build quality of the devices. M3 Pro have plastic back with plastic frame whereas 10 Pro have glass back with plastic frame. So the winner here is 10 Pro because it has solid build quality. And about the SIM options in the devices, both of the devices support dual nano SIM support, so it's a tie. Moving to some of the most important features of the devices. Let's start with the fingerprint scanner of the devices. M3 Pro have side mounted fingerprint scanner. In the other side, 10 Pro have side mounted fingerprint scanner too. So I will call it a tie because both of the devices have same scanner. And about the sensors in the devices, M3 Pro have accelerometer, gyroscope, proximity and compass, whereas 10 Pro have accelerometer, gyroscope, proximity and compass. So again, it's a tie. Let's talk about the battery capacity of the devices. M3 Pro have 5000 mAh of battery capacity, whereas Note 10 Pro have 5020 mAh of battery capacity. So clearly it's a tie here because both of the devices have approximately the same capacity. Let's talk about the charging speed of the devices. M3 Pro have 18 watts of fast charging, whereas Note 10 Pro have 33 watts of fast charging. So the winner here is Note 10 Pro because it can charge up your device faster. Let's talk about the loudspeaker of the devices. M3 Pro comes with normal speakers, whereas 10 Pro have stereo speakers. So the winner here is M3 Pro because it can produce immersive sound. And about the headphone jack of the devices, M3 Pro have 3.5mm of headphone jack, whereas 10 Pro also have. So it's a tie. Moving to the communication chips in the devices. Starting with the WLAN of the devices, both of the devices comes with Wi-Fi AC, dual band Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi direct and hotspot. So it's a tie. And about the Bluetooth version of the devices, M3 Pro have 5.1 generation of Bluetooth, whereas Note 10 also have 5.1 generation of Bluetooth. So it's a tie because both of the devices have same generation of Bluetooth. Let's talk about the positioning chips in the devices. M3 Pro have AGPS, GLONASS, Galileo and BDS, whereas Note 10 Pro have AGPS, GLONASS and BDS. So clearly the winner here is M3 Pro because it have Galileo sensor. And about the USB connectivity of the devices, M3 comes with 2nd gen of Type-C connector and Note 10 Pro have 2nd gen of Type-C connector. So it's a tie. Moving to the price of the devices. In the international market, starting range of M3 Pro is around $180. 10 Pro is available from $280. In the Indian market, M3 have starting range from 16,000 rupees, whereas 10 Pro is available from 16,000 rupees. So the conclusion of the video is, in the camera the winner is Note 10 Pro, in the performance the winner is Note 10 Pro, in the display the winner is Note 10 Pro, in the body segment the winner is Note 10 Pro, in the features of the device the winner is Note 10 Pro, in the communication chips it's a tie, and about the prices the winner is Note 10 Pro. So the decision is totally yours. Which device you like the most so far? Let me know in the comment below. What do you think, which device is better for you? So thank you guys for watching this video. If you like our content, please like our video, share this video and subscribe to our channel. Comment what you thought in the comment below. If you're watching this video on Facebook, please like our page TechDad. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, here's my Instagram ID on the screen. This is Amit and I will see you guys in the next one. Till then, bye.